Well, we are back today to begin what will be another few months of a delicate juggling act as we start our Europa League Group Stage campaign with a tough trip to Lazio. We then got a big league game at the top of the Croatian table, and we've also had the end of the transfer window with just one new senior signing since you were last here. Not looking good at the moment. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 41 of the Coach's Head with me, Daniel. There is much to talk about today because, as well as the end of the transfer window, which concluded at midnight going into this day, we've also got a game against one of my favourite players growing up, as Raul is in charge of Lazio against us in the Europa League. We then face Hadjuk Split 3 days later before another Europa League game 4 days after. And we've only got one new senior addition, but I'm trying to resolve that by changing tactics, as you know from the end of the last episode. A promising sign against poor opposition last time, but will that continue tonight? If you're looking forward to finding out, then please do put a thumbs up on it. I have genuinely no idea how to balance the squad. We didn't have enough homegrown players left to register the squad fully for Europe, which is a bit of a casualty from what's happened at the end of the window, with key players leaving who were homegrown. And we've now got injuries as well, including both right backs yet again. So let's go and have a look, firstly, at what's been happening in a transfer window. Because yet again, Director of Football has not spent the budget, has not really added to the squad. This year's Director of Football challenges, I know I've harped on about it a lot, but it is the first time for me that it's become genuinely unplayable, which is such a shame. But we did get one more senior player in. That man was a loan deal, who then becomes a permanent next summer at the age of 32. Don't ask me why. Leonardo da Paixão Quezada. Not the easiest to pronounce. Leonardo he'll be for the rest of this year. On loan from Boca Juniors. A good holding midfielder. And given the fact we've now changed to that 4-2-3-1 we discussed in the last episode, just gives us an extra option in there. And essentially is a big downgrade replacement for Fuad, who left in the last episode. He was an absolutely crucial departure. 11 million quid made and he spent 200 grand of it. I mean, that tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? What a player he was. He was also homegrown at the club, which was a big problem. As was Adrian Brusic, who got loaned out on the final day. As was Blazenko Graf, who got sold for 175 grand. As was Stefan Grzyna, who got sold for 1.5 million. And we haven't got any homegrown in the nation players to replace them, which is not ideal. There was one more signing on deadline day as well, which was Alex. He came in from Brazil for 200 grand. And to be fair, if you look at him mentally and physically, actually looks like he might be a bit of a player in the future. He's listed as a natural striker, which he'll never be. He can't finish, he can't head it, he's not composed. But from a wide area, might be a bit of a threat in the future. He seems to be wanted at the minute on loan, but no idea what's going to happen there. For now, though, let's have a look at the schedule, because we played one game off camera, and it was the first trial of our new tactic after my frustration against Osijek in the last episode. Of course, the signs, as you can see, were more promising, but I don't know that we can learn a great deal from that because these are one of the poorest teams in the division. We were at home, we would have expected to win. Let's see what happens when we go to away to a top side, as we did against Osijek and Varazdin. As it was, Kupa, Suslov and Medina all managed to get a goal, but we're still without certain players today, and the fixture schedules now, either side of the international break, they're really tough to manage. So I'm not particularly confident in the short term. With that done though, we need to move on to the fixtures because the dynamics are looking a little bit better generally. Vladson was throwing his toys out the pram that he couldn't go to Hibs, but he's injured today anyway. So let's go through to the fixtures. Any other Croatians in there? Varazdin are. They were the champions, so didn't make it through qualifying in the Champions League. If we go through the tactical meeting, I don't really know what to do here. It's a good Lazio side. You can see Hannibal. You can see Guendouzi. Anyone else that's familiar in there? I'm not too sure, actually. Let's have a look at the centre forward. Oh, okay, yeah. This is a different level to us. 2 goals in 2 international caps on 150 grand a week. Magnificent. That's going to go well. Let's have a look at the team selection. Heavy match loads everywhere. Look, I'm tempted. We're not going to get a result against Lazio away. Let's rotate today. I know it's a bold call. Then we'll play the first team at home against Hadjuk and against the Turkish opposition on Thursday night. That's going to be the decision I opt for, but this team tonight, it ain't going to look pretty. Well, one of the problems we face here as we pick our team today is in addition to the lack of homegrown players now because of what's been sold and added to the squad, something that again isn't considered by a director of football when doing transfers, is also the fact that because the Croatian window shuts a week later than most of Europe, it also shuts 6 days after the European squad selection deadline. So the new holding midfielder is not in there, despite the fact that he would have been involved today. So as a result, I'm going to have to play Tagzev from the first team, and then at the weekend, we'll have to play the other guy. Just how it is. The rest of the team is completely rotated, including the promotion of Karle Fjolik to the first team squad. He was the youngster we looked at when we first joined from the 18s. He's a good player, and we've got him involved now. He is part of a squad that includes Ted Kurd in goal, the only other one to keep his place in addition to the holding midfielder Tagzev. Beto is back from injury at the other end, and in between them, we've got Moraes, who might get through more than 20 minutes today with Puklin as the fullbacks, Aver and Fiolik in the middle, Tagzev and Salkic in central midfield. Since Samadic getting a rare start up front, he'll be more involved now, just behind the striker. Now we're playing with that number 10, and then Fofana and Malaysia out wide. Let's see how they get on away at Lazio. This could be a real chastening experience, or the new tactic could prove to be superb. Let's go and see which it is, because looks like our hosts have made a lot of changes, and I'm hoping that's from their first 11. I'm looking at the squad they've dropped. Alex Mere, Luca Pellegrini, Lewis Ferguson, Johan Bakayoko. They look like first teamers to me, so hopefully they're resting and rotating as well. What a player Raul was. Let's hope as a manager here, he's having a little bit of a mare, because I think that's the only way we get a result. Into the first half, a draw would be lovely. If we could hold on even for the first 20 minutes, I'd be pretty pleased. Beto, we're under strict instruction, no more than 60 minutes. Want to look after him because Cooper's not been consistent yet. And we have got Dunjic on the bench as a third choicer. But right away, we've got a big problem. Drizzoldi puts it in. The 150 grand a week backup striker has given Lazio the lead in the 3rd minute. Well, that didn't take long, did it? As we're back on the left-hand side with Lazio. Could be 2-0 in 5. Maybe this tactic, when we're in a game, we've got to be defensive. Not the best to try and get away with. Not sure this is going to be anything other than an ugly night for us. As for a bit of encouragement, Fiolik's twisted his knee. I don't even think we've got a sub back there. The only one is Babic, who's a fullback. So I'm going to try and get him to half-time, I think. And then we'll do Beto and Fiolik at the same time. Tagsev's got a yellow card. This is turning into a bit of a nightmare. And you've seen, everyone said it. Those who were against us coming to Dinamo. It was about, oh, you're going to run away with the league. It's going to be a little bit too easy. We're not top of the league. We're dropping points. We're not able to manage the squad very well. And again, the frustration is we've been left a lot weaker than when we joined. And the transfer budget hasn't been spent at all. Something that's becoming a bit of a theme this year as Samardžić goes back to Moraes. It peters out, but at least we didn't concede from it. You can see, though, Lazio dominating across the board. Not a pretty night so far. 10 to the break, but if we keep it at 1-0, that is a positive, I think. Varazdin are still 0-0 in their game, and we're getting absolutely battered. But we're not going to have many tougher games than this season. And now we've got an injury at left-back as well. Moraes just destined not to do half a game, and that means Babic has got to come on. Simic will be rested for the weekend. What do I do with Clara and Byshell at the back? Clara has played nearly 270 minutes. Byshell has played nearly 270 minutes. This is not a good situation, folks. Let's get through the half-time. We'll make the others in a moment. We're almost there anyway. I'm going to do the sub in central midfield. Why are we playing so much longer? 6 minutes added on in the end. I'm going to say we weren't good enough there. Fiolik's disheartened and he's not fit. I've got to get him off. We'll go for Byshell, who's played slightly less minutes. I'll also get Tagzev on for Diambu. Switch round, sorry. We'll just make sure that we look after people here. The main exercise of tonight is not getting embarrassed and not getting lots of injuries. We've already got 2. Let's not add to that any further. It looks like the other 2 subs will be Beto and then probably Malaysia the way he's playing. But the question is who you bring on, isn't it? Because look how much time Lazio have on the ball. I felt so much more confident with a new tactic when we were playing a terrible opposition at home on Saturday. Doesn't look quite the same against good opposition, does it? Although this game isn't one we were going to win anyway. As Guendouzi finds Pellegrino. Wide to the left for Castelli. Space to run into for Hannibal. He looks down the line. Good run from Vienna. I'm sure the striker will be in the middle waiting for this one. Castelli's going to deliver it. There he is at the back post, as is Edson. And he gets his second of the year. Lazio 2 up already. Ah, this is horrible. We're not at this level, to be fair. Why did I leave Willem 2 a couple of years ago? That is the main question I've got to ask myself now. Let's make the final 2 subs. It will be Beto off 4. Dunjic is going to come on. And then I'm going to take off Malajo for Butarak, who was the other youngster we looked at in pre-season in the 18s. He's still there at the minute, but we're going to go for Fana left, Samardzic right, and Butarak as the number 10. And hopefully get some form of response out of that. 20 minutes to go. I'll take 2-0. Just let the night be over with. And let this be worth it when we get to the Hadjuk Split game on Sunday. As the ball's into the box from Lazio's free kick. Weichel heads up. Doesn't really go out of the box though. And Edson can keep the pressure on. Space on the left to find Barsal. Pellegrino again. Looking for Eriksson. Good football. They're toying with us in truth. It's a training session. Pellegrino to the byline. Cuts back. They're not even putting the cross in. Now they do. Eriksson's up by Shell again. Doesn't get the header clear. He's winning a lot of headers by Shell, but they're not going anywhere. And in the end, it's 3-0. Ted Kurd not able to save it. Fofana being blamed for the goal of all people. Did you see by Shell's clearance? Not great. Look at Shamrock Rovers Sarajevo at the bottom there. 4-4. What a game that is. But we are bottom of the Europa League Group Phase at the minute after a heavy defeat at Lazio. A poor game, but a tough one, and with a rotated side. I'm not going to say you did yourselves proud. I've fallen down that trap before. We're going to get the lads motivated. We're going to get through to Sunday. We're going to hope we can get this first team back in, and it'll be worth it. Moraes is out for 4 weeks, which is going to affect our ability to rotate a bit, isn't it? We have got Bjorkan, the experienced one, who can come in for the league. So maybe that's one more rotation I have to do at the weekend. Or maybe the weekend after. Dunjic in a goal drought. Let's spotted at the stadium looking at Tagzef. Won't be calling him up based on that, will he? We've got Hadjuk Split in 3 days' time. They've not started great, to be fair. They're having a pretty poor season. But they've lost largely the same games as us. They were beaten by Istra where we nicked a draw. They lost against Osijek. But they did draw at home to the opponents we battered last week. So hopefully we'll do well based on that. But they've also won at Vradzin and beaten Rijeka. 2 teams we've struggled with. Well, fitness test time ahead of the Sunday afternoon action, and we wait to see how many of the 11 are fit. Has Vladson made it okay? Have the boys that played on Thursday night got anything left in the tank? And will the first 11 be able to stay fit with another game in 4 days' time? Vradzin are in action as well. Osijek are top of the tree, but in good news for us, they had a hammering yesterday. Seems like they're struggling with the balance. They must be in Europe. Oh no, they went out, didn't they, in the playoff? And they've still lost 3-0 at the weekend. Maybe this league's just going to be a weird one where anyone can beat anyone. A lot of good players spread across probably 5 or 6 teams. Does make this pretty hard to predict. Let's go and get our 11 sorted though. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, here we go. I've rotated as well as possible, and this is what we're left with. We've gone for Ted Kurd in goal today, back to first choice. Everywhere else, he remains the same though. Simic and Vladson the fullbacks, with Baishel and Clara at centre-half. Quezada comes in instead of Tagzef in the playmaker role alongside Diambu, with Medina and Hugo Gonzalez wide and Suslov behind Cooper. This is about as strong as we can be at the minute. Can we get the job done? Can we get a victory? And can we get a chance to rest people for Thursday? The last one's probably wishful thinking, but for Quezada, we just need a good debut. Well, here we go against Hadjuk Split. I'm looking for familiar names and I don't see too many of them. So maybe they've gone for a more youthful approach, as much of this league has. We're the only ones that hadn't really for some reason. Despite having a great academy, we just decided to sell them all at 19 or 20. Let's go and prove a point. Let's get most of these lads inspired. Hopefully, we're going to be able to produce a performance. Said it's not the best weather for football out there. Doesn't look terrible from the initial graphics though. Not really sure what that message was about. 5 gone, it's 0-0. Is this probably the first moderate test of this tactic against a team that we probably should just be beating? Are we going to be able to produce? We've beaten a team we should batter. We've lost to a team we should be battered by. But what do we do in this one? Do we find a way? Quezada, the first player booked. Viladson's injured again. Honestly, never seen someone so injury prone. The wind blows and suddenly he's out for a week. As we're 10 minutes to the break, we've not seen a shot on target yet. This is a worrying sign. Do I work the ball into the box? But surely that means we're going to be more patient in trying to create chances. It's not that we're getting them from distance and missing. We're just not creating anything. As here come Hadjuk Split. We've nicked it with Viladson, who are going to get through to half-time. Cooper finds Suslov. Quezada now carries forward. Can he make that debut impact? Plays a safe pass to Simic. But he still gets to the byline with a chance to cross. Cleared at the front post as far as Quezada. Back into Juan Medina. Now I think rated the best player at the club, weirdly. Wasn't even going to start for me when I got here. As Hugo Gonzalez finds Suslov. And it sneaks in at the near post. Not the best keeping. Was tight on the offside, but I think he's just okay. Let's see what the assistant says. VAR will check. And VAR will award the goal. You don't need to score more than one goal if you keep a clean sheet. And keep it tidy at the back. As Suslov's got injured as well. The whole team's falling apart. We rested everyone so we wouldn't have this problem. And now, I'm just going to have to rest them, aren't I? I can't afford long-term injuries, so put Klins on. In the number 10 role, I don't even think I put Samardzic on the bench, so it'll be Tagzev, I think. He'll come on there. And then do I take Quezada off on a yellow? I don't think so yet. I'm going to try and get him to the hour mark. And then God knows what I do in the middle, because Tagzev would have been his replacement. He's now as the number 10. Leaving me with a few decisions, isn't it? There's been one shot on target in this game which has been scored. Can we get any advance on that? We might be gifted one, because that is a shout for a penalty. By Shell has been, by the looks of it, shirt pulled off the ball. Didn't see anything relating to handball or that, but a penalty is awarded, which is the main thing. Now, who's taking it? It's Tagzev, the sub. He's had a rotten start since he's been here. Steps up left-footed. Sends the keeper the wrong way. We do not deserve to be 2 goals clear in this game. It's been a nothing match. But we'll take it at this point. We need to find a way this season to win ugly. I think it's the only way we go further with this club. And doing so in games like this will be crucial to us having a title challenge. As we've got a free kick in. Clara heads over. Still looking comfortable, an hour gone. The visitors yet to have a shot at all. Not even off target. Let's get some subs on ourselves, because we're going to take off Quezada. And I'm going to go for... I'm trying to find someone who can play number 10. I either go Sulkic in the holding role, or I go for number 10. So let's put Tagzev there. And then we're going to bring Dunic on, who didn't do much in midweek. So he'll be fitter. Timmy Cooper struggling a bit, so we'll keep building better up. Or in fact, I could bring Maeda, the super sub, on, because he didn't play midweek and isn't registered. Simic needs a rest. Ideally, because he's the one who's going to have to play midweek too. And Bjorkan can't, but I don't want to do that too early. Medina, you can see, is struggling as well. Decisions to make. What will we do? Hopefully we get a third and make it easier. I think I'm going to play safe with the defence. I'm going to leave that back 6 or 7. And I'm going to take Medina off for either Malaysia. Yeah, we'll do Malaysia. And we'll put Gonzalez over on the right. He's also very good out there. Should be a star for us. We're 20 to go, though. A 2-0 up. I'm just hoping we've got the job done, because Viladson are losing as well. This league is one hell of a weird one. 10 to go. We know we like to concede in clusters, and we've almost conceded from another set piece. Why can this team of 6-foot-somethings not defend set pieces when set up in a way that should be conducive to what we're going to face? It's very odd. There's another one against us here. To the back post. It's in. I'm speechless. I also, on the tactic, have someone marking the back post. So why the hell was there no one there? Are they just ignoring us? There's 5 minutes added on. We can't get a break in the highlight. If we do, we'll get the time wasting on. As Malaysia nicks the ball in the middle, it's bounced back off him though. Diambu's got the chance to just settle down though. Finds Gonzalez. Can we just keep it? Do a professional job with Puklin on the right. To Gonzalez again. Beats his man, gets to the byline. Cross in towards Dunic. Palmed away to Maeda. Oh, he scores so many goals off the bench. I couldn't justify putting him in the European squad, but I regret not doing it in a way. Because even at his old age of 30, whatever, as the worst rated striker of the senior ones at the club, he's still scoring goals galore. He's popping up off the bench and scoring every league match. And that on these Sundays after the European matches is going to be really crucial to our title push. Good win, boys. Good performance. I'm happy enough. But we've got to find a way to defend set pieces better. And I don't know how many more sessions I can give up to try and train it. We're back to the top of the table, but it is tight up there. Osijek just 1 point behind. All of us dropping loads of points. A very weird start to the season. Blasden is out yet again. He has got a bruised thigh this time. Will miss Thursday night, I'm sure. And Quezada makes his debut, which is nice. But let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. Because we've got quite a few big Europa League games. But we've also got to be wary of when we face Osijek in the league, which looks like being the battle at the top, as predicted by the media. So we're definitely going to do Osijek Hoffenheim. I want to find one in the middle of there. Maybe Rijeka and HSV. That looks a good game. Rijeka and Hamburg, I think, is a good double header. So we'll do those two. We'll do Osijek and Hoffenheim. And then we'll do after the winter break in January with the window. I think that all works out well. If you enjoyed this one, a very tough night in Rome, followed by an important league victory. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. Will I regret not putting Maeda in the Europa League squad? Will we be able to win games in that competition? We'll have an actual go on Thursday night and hopefully we'll get a little bit of reward with the first team. If you're looking forward to finding out if we do and you want to stay up to date with this season, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. A big battle at the top of the Croatian table looks to be incoming. So hopefully we're going to have a proper title race and a very tough balancing act when it comes to the squad. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the transfer work, what you thought of the performance from the backup team. And of course, before we return in a couple of days' time, it's a big one with Southend tomorrow. Summer transfer special, some big news in that too. And if you missed the 15 YouTube bookmark, you can find it from yesterday up in the eye above. Also links there to the football podcast and the Twitch channel for loads of content too. But thank you very much for watching, for joining me for another frustrating episode to an extent. But it finished in style and we're looking upwards now. Hopefully, we can stay top of the tree.